Have you ever felt incomplete or like you've lost yourself and not known how to find yourself again? If that sounds familiar, stay tuned. We're going to explore that in this video. David, William, Pierce, welcome back. And this week's teachings explore one of the biggest misunderstandings people can have about themselves. That relationship between the body, the mind, and awareness itself. So if you've ever felt trapped in your thoughts or wondered why stress affects your body, then this week's teaching offers a perspective that can support you. Each week I create a quiz from the Tantric studies that I'm working through, and in this video I'm going to go through each question for this week, explain the answer, and explore why it actually matters in everyday life. For me, this isn't just yoga theory, this is applied yoga. Because Tantra isn't simply about trying to explain reality, but about understanding our experience so that we can experience it differently. So let's dive in. Question 1. According to Tantra, what is Prakṛti? Prakṛti is the entire physical universe of matter energy. See, the Tantrics knew this long before we understood this in the West. That's why they have a single word to explain the concept, whereas we've only really understood that matter and energy are related since Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared. That's really what combined the two. Previously, we considered them separate entities in the West. Tantrics knew otherwise. Many people try to solve emotional problems by changing their thoughts alone, or physical problems by only treating the body. But Tantra suggests that they are deeply connected, and that sometimes changing one can change the other. Because in the Tantric system, Prakṛti is everything that makes up the world of experience, and in the human microcosm, it refers to the body-mind field. Tantrics, rather than seeing these aspects as separate, they view them as different expressions of one continuous field. And the field of Prakṛti is everything that can become an object of consciousness. That is everything that I've gone through and explored in this Tattvas system up into this video. Go and watch the previous videos to see the previous Tattvas. So Prakṛti is everything except Tattvas 1 to 12. And so an invitation is, where in your life have you been treating your body and mind as separate when they may actually be asking for the same kind of care? Okay, question 2. What relationship does Tantra describe between the body and the mind? Well, in the Tantric system, they are different expressions of one continuous field. It said that the body is the most tangible aspect of the mind, and the mind the least tangible aspect of the body. So if you've ever been stuck in anxiety or burnout or emotional overwhelm, remember that sometimes movement, breathing, sleep, or nutrition aren't separate from your mental health. They're a part of it. Because the mind, being the subtlest expression of the body, and the body the densest expression of the mind, means that they constantly influence one another. That your thinking can influence your physical being, your well-being, and vice versa. So consider what happens to your thinking when your body feels rested and nourished and safe. Question 3. According to this teaching, what can happen when the mind is under prolonged stress? Well, it can also affect the health of your body. And this is because they are intertwined. They are not separate entities. They're linked. Sometimes the symptoms you're trying to fix aren't actually the problem itself. Your body may simply be communicating what your mind has been carrying for too long. And this is the work of people like Joe Dispenza. It's learning to use your mind to influence your body, your well-being, your reality. This is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's the same concept, just expressed differently. Because body and mind exist on one continuum, which means chronic psychological stress eventually expresses itself physically. Dis-ease, mental dis-ease, can lead to physical disease. And likewise, physical well-being influences mental clarity. So consider, what might your body be trying to tell you that your mind has been too busy to hear? Question 4. What are the 3 gunas? Now, I'll be honest, the 3 gunas are something that I have struggled to really connect with. So let's explore it together. The 3 gunas are comprised of sattva, lucidity and lightness, rajas, energy and passion, and tamas, darkness, heaviness and inertia. So instead of labeling yourself as lazy or anxious or unproductive, Tantra invites you to recognize that these are simply just changing states. They're not permanent identities. The gunas are the 3 fundamental qualities that constantly combine to shape our experience of life. So consider, which quality feels most present in your life today? Clarity? Restlessness? Or maybe heaviness? And know that that's okay. Question 5. What does Purasa represent? What does Purasa represent? Question 5. What does Purasa represent? The witnessing awareness within experience is what Purasa is. And you don't have to believe every thought simply because you think it. The moment you notice you're thinking, you've already just discovered something deeper than the thought itself. Purasa is the aspect of you that notices thoughts, emotions, and sensations without being limited by them. This is the concept of the individual soul in Tantric teaching. It is the unlimited consciousness, limited by the 5 kanchikas, which we'll get into next week, that manifests as the individual soul or Atman. So an invitation is to consider who is noticing the thoughts that you're having right now. Question 6. How does non-dual Tantra differ from some other Indian philosophies regarding the individual soul? Well, non-dual Tantra sees the individual soul as a temporary contraction of universal consciousness. So if you've ever felt isolated or disconnected from life, this teaching offers a different possibility, that perhaps separation is something you're experiencing, not something that you are. Rather than viewing yourself as separate, Tantra suggests your individual identity is consciousness temporarily expressing itself in a limited form. An invitation is to consider, where have you been assuming you're separate when life may already be supporting you? Question 7. Is the individual soul permanent? Big question. Well, if you are following the Tantric system, then no. The individual soul is not permanent. Your individual identity is considered a wave arising within a greater ocean of consciousness. Many of our fears come from believing everything depends entirely on us. Remembering that we're part of something larger gets to be an invitation to soften that pressure. Your personality is real, but in Tantric teaching, it's not the whole story. Like a wave belongs to the ocean, your individual life belongs to something greater. So consider, how might your decisions change if you felt supported by life rather than separate from it? Question 8. Why is understanding the body-mind connection so important? Well, it's because caring for one influences the other. And the mind can have influence over physical dis-ease. Every choice you make affects the entire system, not just one part of it. Appreciating this gets to support the entire system as a whole, to allow your thoughts to positively impact your physical well-being. And for looking after your body, to nurture healthy, supportive thinking. So consider, what's one small act of care today that could support both your body and your mind? Question 9. According to Tantric teaching, what happens to the individual sense of self over time? Well, it's considered that it naturally expands back towards its unlimited source. That may take one lifetime, it may take multiple lifetimes, but that's the direction it's tending towards. Feeling stuck doesn't necessarily mean you failed. It may simply be one phase in a much bigger process of growth. Tantra teaches that contraction isn't permanent. Life continually invites us into greater openness and awareness and connection. So consider where life is already inviting you to expand beyond the person you've believed yourself to be. Question 10. How is the non-dual tantric system different to the classical yoga of Patanjali? Well, one of the ways is that the soul is not the highest principle in the tantric system, because it doesn't express an all-encompassing view. Many people spend years trying to escape themselves in search of something spiritual. This Patanjalic philosophy is to escape the prison of the body. But Tantra points in the opposite direction. It says to meet the moment fully, this life, this experience, this gift fully, because this is where life is happening. Tantra doesn't ask you to choose between spirituality and ordinary life. It invites you to discover that both belong in the same unfolding expression of consciousness. This life of yours is a gift to enjoy, not a prison to escape. So, an invitation. What would change if you stopped trying to escape your experience and became fully present to it instead? Perhaps the biggest insight from this week's teaching is that you are not a mind trapped inside a body, nor are you a body trying to become spiritual. You are one continuous expression of life, temporarily experiencing yourself through both of these things. And the more deeply you can understand that relationship, the less divided you begin to feel in it. So if you'd like to explore these teachings more deeply, you can find the full quiz in the description. And if you'd like to explore the answers, consider joining a transformed mind. It's a community where we get to explore concepts like this and make yoga practical I like to consider it as applied yoga. It's not just conceptual philosophy, but it's applied actuality. How can learning any of this stuff, understanding any of this stuff, actually have a positive impact on your life? Now, if you're curious to know what this looks like in practice rather than philosophy, I'll also link this week's newsletter where I share how I've been integrating these teachings into my own life. If one of these questions stayed with you, let me know which in the comments, and I'd love to hear what landed for you. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next transmission. Cheers.